With both Bill Belichick and Nick Saban stepping away from their posts within the same 24-hour time span, it begs the question, while both obviously had epic careers, who had the greater? Now, here's Bill Belichick with 6 Super Bowl championships, more than any other head coach, 24 years in one place, and a bevy of AFC East Division championships, as well as multiple other Super Bowl appearances where he did not win the Vince Lombardi Trophy. But better career? Nick Saban. Here's why. Let's start with the rosters. 6 Super Bowl championships for Bill Belichick with 1 quarterback. Here's the quarterbacks that won championships, the 7 from Nick Saban. At LSU, the immortal Matt Mock. At Alabama, Jacob Coker, Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron, Jalen Hurts with an assist from Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones. That's 7 national championships with 6 different QBs. Do we think Bill Belichick was winning Vince Lombardi trophies with 6 different quarterbacks? Now, look, I understand also that Alabama had its pick of 5-star players, and the Patriots were trying to keep things together during an era of free agency. But let's also remember that Nick Saban has to turn over his roster. There's usually a 25% roster attrition every single year in college football. Now even more with the transfer portal. So that means instead of having a group of guys together for a long stretch of time, Nick Saban was indoctrinating another freshman class every single year and losing guys to the NFL draft and graduation every single year. The Patriots way can exist because there's a nucleus of guys that is there for a bulk of time. Think about the first 3 championships in New England. That defense is anchored by Teddy Bruschi and Vince Wilfork and Ty Law, Ted Johnson, Mike Vrabel. Plus on offense, it's Troy Brown and Deion Branch, David Givens and David Patton. That offensive line is basically the same each and every year from the early 2000s on. And then that back end of the dynasty is Gronk and Edelman, Amendola. And that offensive line is largely the same as well. There's no Hall of Fame tight end within the Alabama roster for 7, 8, 9 seasons. And there certainly isn't one quarterback for 20. But let's also look at how many different times each coach did it. Bill Belichick, 6 rings, 3 more Super Bowl appearances with New England, and 2 rings as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants. But as a head coach, he only had to do it one place. But for Nick Saban, he goes to Toledo, incredible success. Goes to Michigan State, incredible success. Goes to LSU, wins a national championship. Goes to Alabama, wins 6 of them. At Toledo, only there for 1 season, ends up 7-1 in the MAC and a 9-win campaign. First time that had happened since 1983. Goes to Michigan State. In short order, builds Michigan State into a 10-win program. The last time that Michigan State had won 10 games, 1965. He goes to LSU and same thing. Historic success. In the late 90s, Jerry DiNardo had LSU at 3-8 and had won 1 game in the SEC. Nick Saban's first year, 8-4. By year 2, they were 10-3. By year 4, they won the Natty. Oh, by the way, that's LSU's first national championship since 1958 at the time. Again, everywhere that Nick Saban went, he immediately made them as great as they had ever been. And then we get to Alabama, his crowning achievement. Yeah, things didn't work out so well in between LSU and Bama when he went to the Miami Dolphins. But when he comes back to Alabama, things just become an absolute machine. And people assume that Alabama's always been great. Let me just let you know, it hasn't always been like this in Tuscaloosa. The 3 coaches prior to Nick Saban, Mike DuBose, Dennis Franchione, Mike Shula. You want some numbers that'll make you shudder? DuBose, 24-23 at Bama. Franchione got 2 seasons, 17-8. Mike Shula, oh boy, woof. 10-23 with the Tide. That includes a sterling 5-19 record of the SEC. And let's not forget about Mike Price, who was hired right in between that era and never coached a game at Alabama because he was nailed at a strip club in Pensacola. Yeehaw! Good times.
Yeehaw! Good times.
Meantime, Nick Saban takes over and they immediately become sterling silver in college football. In his second season, they won 12 games and went to the Sugar Bowl. By year 3, they were undefeated and won the Natty. Within his first 6 seasons, they had won 3 national championships and were ranked in the final top 10 of the season 5 times. Now that's a turnaround. By the way, you think that Alabama's always had this incredible talent for years upon years upon years. And guess what? They have 4 Heisman Trophy winners in program history. All of them came under Nick Saban. All of them. And this record is just insane. Within the SEC, the best conference in America, and a league where national champions came out of Gainesville and Athens, Georgia, Auburn, LSU, Bama under Nick Saban was 118-19. Again, within the bust 'em up, chew 'em up, spit 'em out SEC, Nick Saban was 99 games over 500. He had more first-round NFL draft picks than total losses. And if we want to go one level deeper, while Bill Belichick had a ton of success, obviously, in New England, there are 2 massive stains on his resume when the NFL took draft picks away for 2 scandals: Spygate and Deflategate. Nick Saban was never pinched by the NCAA. No banners came down, no vacated victories, no bowl probations or Heisman trophies that had to be handed back. And one more note, how they've both ended their tenures. For Nick Saban, perhaps one of his best coaching jobs ever. You saw where Alabama was early in the season. They didn't have a quarterback. They lost to Texas. They were stuck in a slog against South Florida. By the end of it, knocked off the 2-time undefeated defending world champion Georgia Bulldogs, won the conference and went to the college football playoff again, where they played in a nail-biter against the eventual national champ Michigan at the Rose Bowl. For Bill, he finished his Patriots tenure with a bizarre quarterback controversy, Mac Jones versus Bailey Zappi, a pathetic roster, especially on offense, a questionable coaching staff, his son is the defensive coordinator, and a 4-13 campaign. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Whose career would you take between the two? It's no argument. It's Nick Saban. For more videos like this, click this button right here. Subscribe to this channel. I appreciate it very much. I'm DA, Damon Amendolara. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.